assalamu alaikum, ji ayanu, pakhair ragale, ni hao, chune shumme, washmale, ohaya gonzaimas, guten morgen, privyet, and hi, hugs and hellos, and a very amazing khush amadi to everyone who's tuned into PT World and are watching well this morning, alongside the very blue Maha Makhdoom and the white and green Shazad Khan. Hello Maha, how are you?
Hello Shazad, assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm really good today. I'm better.
Oh, that's great, but you know, I'm not feeling very good because of the fact that this fringe over here on this side of my head doesn't really settle down. So it just pops out.
Shazad's having a bad hair day today.
Well, it's a, I don't know how to express it, but it's a little patch on my head where I have to cover it as well, and the fringe just pops up. I don't know why.
That's the beauty of age. We are aging so gracefully in the studio. But anyway, did you have a good evening yesterday?
Yeah, I had a very good evening because of the fact that I never knew when the evening passed by because I was just sleeping. I was catching up with my Z's.
Excellent.
And I had a very good night's sleep as well. So ladies and gentlemen, it is very essential to have a good night's sleep.
Absolutely. It keeps you completely fresh and it really helps you to get on with the day. And it's good for your brain. You need it.
And right now I just wanted to see what's going around in the globe, or on the globe. So let's go ahead and check out the top stories.
Yes.
Whew.
Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi will inaugurate Kachi Canal project today in District Dera Bukti of Balochistan. Excellent. I didn't pronounce that right.
Pakistan anyways have the largest canal map as well.
Excellent.
UN Security Council expressed concern about excessive force used by Myanmar during its security operation in Rakhine State and called for immediate steps to end the violence. Sad.
Very sad. And then on the other side of the world, nearly 50 buildings and landmarks were lit up in Los Angeles to celebrate the 2028 Olympic Games host city announcement. Look at the contrast about what the difference.
20 years so far, man. The celebration.
We think that, but it's 11 years away, and
because
it will
they have
pass
to prepare
very quickly.
too. Yeah. The International Olympic Committee named Paris and Los Angeles as hosts for the 2024 and 2028 Olympics, crowning two cities at the same time in a historic first for the embattled sports body.
Interesting.
2024 and 2028.
And two cities, that's like interesting. Okay, the World 11 beat Pakistan by 7 wickets in a thrilling second 2020 of Independence Cup 2017 at Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, to level the series 1-1.
Yeah, and we still have one more match, which is going to be on Friday, which is tomorrow.
Excellent.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, before we talk a bit about cricket, I think we need to go for a public service message. Let's take a listen, and then we'll talk about cricket. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
So Shazad is going to do it today.
yeah, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear that hat. But as a matter of fact, the only thing which I would love to say over here is that, you know, we do have these water filters all around Islamabad and different cities of Pakistan as well. But I think that we probably need to check before we drink water because the hygiene, the state of hygiene within these filtration plants, I don't think that it is very good, and the government needs to probe into it as well. Because whenever you go over there, there's mud, there's dirt, and there's keychain and whatnot. So how can, you know, probably the water be clean? So please make sure that, you know, before, because everybody's trusting these filtration plants. And the last survey, which was taken 2 years earlier, said that 11 filtration plants were given out fine, you know, able to drink water. But as a matter of fact, the others weren't really hygienic. So yeah, please check that out.
And that's why, you know, I do check if it's filtered water, and then if they say I don't tend to drink it, because there's no point taking those risks. So that is our public service message. Now, because of the 2020 and this whole like cricket fever that's going on, and the fact that we have such wonderful international players, Shazad has some stuff to say about it.
Exactly. So now yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, what happened was that Pakistan lost, and I think that the credit goes to all of those fielders who actually misfielded as well. And as a matter of fact, it's not necessary, because when both teams play, obviously one has to win. But if you can win the first one, why can't you win the second one? Or is it to level, the series as well? But as a matter of fact, I think what we need to do is we probably need to focus on our fielding skills more and more. But let's see what Raja Asad has to say, because he's a commentator too. He's a very seasoned man. Let's see what he has to say about the match which took place yesterday. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I think you will be more happier because you have been part of our commentary team during our recent the Pakistan Cup. So it's a wonderful morning in Lahore, and especially in Pakistan. Today it was a good match. The outfit of World 11 was much more stronger. They proved themselves. But otherwise, we should think that the cricket is a winner, and all arrangements, they were at place. They're wonderful crowd, a good cricket, scene, and hope that the final encounter will provide the quality contest and wishful thinking that Pakistan should win.
I think, first of all, thank you very much for reminding me about the 2015 Pakistan Cup, where we were sharing the same mic as well. But other than that, don't you think that Pakistan kind of misfielded quite a lot yesterday?
Excuse me?
Don't you think that Pakistan misfielded quite a lot yesterday?
Yes, there was a lot of shortcomings, I tell you. We gave, a number of runs which shouldn't be there. Amla was not tackled as he should have been, because he's the one who stayed the wicket and scored 70-odd runs. That ultimately was the main reason of their victory. I think the exit of Sarfaraz at the early stages, he gave us very soft dismissal and he got out. So there was some other aspect of the game, like we do miss Muhammad Ahmed. It do happen in cricket. Some key players got injured. They got some other personal reason. But as far as this cricket encounter is concerned, we should believe that our very kind visiting cricket stars, they played better cricket. And I tell you, we should not talk something about Pakistan, that we are the team and we should win always. World 11 is currently consists of all the mutaharrik player of world cricket. I tell you, the likes of Amla and Morkel is outstanding bowler, and similarly Imran Tahir bowled beautifully well. Badri is the class. So overall, it's a star-studded World 11. So we should believe that we are playing against the world. So let's hope that Pakistan will do better during the final encounter. That's considered to be the final of this tri-series. So hope that there will be something extraordinary from our batting, outfit. The visiting World 11 looks much better than Pakistan is in the aforesaid department that I mentioned, the batting department.
All right, but since you're over there and you're commentating too, what kind of sentiment do you see within the spectators? Are people shouting out for World 11 or Pakistan? So how do they decide? Because it gets very interesting, because we are so welcoming right now and we want cricket to flourish over here on the soil of Pakistan as well. So what sentiments do you see?
Very pertinent question. Lahore has been, cultural hub of Pakistan, and it remained even before the partition. The crowd, I live very near to Gaddafi Stadium, and I've been living there since my birth. So the kind of arrangement and the kind of, participation sense and enthusiasm, I've never seen it before. Plus the arrangement, there are so many organizations, government organizations, non-government organizations who are taking part. The likes of City District Government, Punjab Sports Board, Punjab Government, Federal Government, above all the Pak Army and the Rangers, they all get together. And overall, it's a very good administrative. And you see the security package, plus the quality participation. For example, yesterday, I saw all the quality spectators. They were behaving. There was a civic sense, there was a civic courage, and there was passion and love for the game. They were coming out, they were going in a very, very immaculate, very decent, very sober, and very professional way. The queues were made, and there was good arrangement as far as the refreshment is concerned. We were talking about expensive tickets. 8,000 looks very expensive. And yesterday, the PCB chairman admitted this, that the prices of the tickets were very high. But I tell you, in the meantime, the 8,000 ticket holder was given free meals, the quality meals. the dinner or the refreshment or the tea. So overall, I would tell you it's a brilliant success by PCB, Punjab government, federal government, and they deserve full commemoration and full facilitation, at this very time when no one was coming. And fortunately, I earlier mentioned your program, the PTB World program, the minnows of cricket, the likes of Afghanistan, they were refusing that they don't want to come to Pakistan because of security reasons. Now you see, the accused of the teams who wanted to come Pakistan, who wants to come Pakistan. The day before yesterday, Ian Smith of South Africa, the former captain, he described that it's a brilliant success, and I'm very happy that cricket is being played in Pakistan. And maybe the South African would be the first to tour Pakistan to play a full test series. So that's a very good signal. And I further tell you, Mr. Najim Sethi deserves full congratulation and appreciation. I've seen the going days of great Abdul Hafiz Karbar, but the kind of a chairman he is, he is socially, financially, administratively very strong. And to an extent, he knows the cricket bit. Secondly, he has been the former caretaker chief minister of Punjab. He knew the bureaucracy working, weaknesses, and the process. So overall, he exploited the conditions very well. And PTB has done a tremendous job. So is Radio Pakistan, our national organization. They have broadcast and telecast live proceedings of the game. And overall, it's a very festive environment in Pakistan. We all, and you people are, we are very happy and very pleased.
To say over here is that the ICC chief executive even said in one of his statements that if this series is going to go fine and superb, then many international teams are going to visit Pakistan, and we are going to witness all of those matches. But other than that, one point which I wanted to say, and that is that, when you talked about the tickets being very expensive and then good meals were being served, I think food is one of those things which Pakistanis love anyways, and they're always happy to have food. But other than that, moving towards the end, where we witnessed that it was 12 runs needed by the World 11, and then Pereira on the second last ball actually hit a sixer, and then they won as well. Don't you think that, where do you think that we lagged, and that's because we had to lose as well, in your aspect, in your perspective?
Shahzad, we missed you in fact there because it's a very sociable game. You have been there. PTV World, people were moving around there, and I asked, when you are doing a splendid job and you look well versed in cricket, you are putting pertinent questions. First of all, Dave Richardson's statement, it was a very healthy statement. You see, I cannot expect in Lahore there will be the heads of the ICC governing body, Dave Richardson and Clark. They have played a pivotal role by making this possible that the World 11 is there. About the Pakistani weaknesses, there are 2-3 weaknesses. First of all, they should have their 100% during the last 5 overs or the first 5 overs. These are which they have played first and they have played second. The traditional weakness of Pakistan, fielding was a cause. I believe that it's not a festival match. At times, their body language was not all that convincing and not all that aggressive which should have been in this shorter form of cricket. So they have to, rebuild themselves. Mickey Arthur is a successful coach. I think there is a very much chance that Pakistan would come back and should give their level best during the last T20, which will be played tomorrow. So overall, I think Pakistan has done a good job. Pereira hits during the last over, the second last delivery. So it was overall a good encounter. And believe me, the spectators, they got every penny out of their, the expenses by watching this fabulous encounter. It was overall a very good thing. You and me, we may be partisan, but still, the overall global viewership, they were entertained by the quality cricket. Both the teams play almost 20 overs. The World 11 scored their ultimate target and achieved their target in 19.5 overs. So it was overall a well-balanced, well-played, and well-contested event.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Raj Saab, for being with us, and I'll definitely see you in Lahore on Friday, which is going to be tomorrow, to witness the final as well. I will definitely try to get my hands on the tickets, and if I'll be served with good meal, I think I'll buy 2 tickets because I need 2 meals. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back because today we are going to discuss something very important, and I think Maha's going to enlighten you on that. Short break. Good morning.
निकले हैं शहजादे दुनिया को दिखाने आए हैं हम दीवाने फिर से गेम उठाने पूछो ना ये कैसी रात होगी आज हर सू चारों तरफ होगी अपनी बात फिर सीटी बजेगी स्टेज सजेगा और ताली बजेगी अब खेल जमेगा फिर सीटी बजेगी स्टेज सजेगा और ताली बजेगी अब खेल जमेगा ला 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 ला
The ancient city of Taxila is the heart of stonework in Pakistan. This art, which has been preserved and practiced for centuries, can be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired. Multicolored lacquer painting is then used to ornament the molds, which in the end bear a Mughal or Persian feel. Ivory is crafted into pens, chess sets, jewelry and other accessories such as keychains by the expert craftsman. Such detailed work, while being extravagant, is indeed a feat to achieve, and craftsmen of Multan produce beauty with their work which is worthy of global admiration. The enchanting arts and crafts of Pakistan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watch World this morning alongside Maha Makhdoom and Shahzad Khan. Today, earlier, we were talking about cricket because Pakistan lost from World 11 yesterday.
I wanted to say something, but you guys were so busy talking that I wasn't able to say
Go ahead.
anything.
This is your time now.
You know, even if they lose, you can't win everything. So it's okay. Like, I don't think we should be so tough on them.
No, it is all right. We're not saying that we are going to be tough on it, but I think it's going to make it look very interesting because it was a 3-match series.
Okay.
So it's 1-1. So on Friday, I think people will be very excited. So if
Okay.
Pakistan won yesterday, well,
Okay, great. So positive thoughts. But talking about positive thoughts, we now have to get started with this show because we have a very interesting conversation. And I think anyone, expats, you know, any diplomats, anyone who's watching, this is really interesting because we're talking about the state of the world.
Yeah.
Not just in the world, but basically from a Pakistani point of view, what is happening? So you have so many injustices. Like, for example, you have the refugee situation. You have atrocities going on with the Rohingya Muslims in Burma. You have the terrible stuff happening in Syria. You have things happening within Pakistan. You know, you have things happening in Europe, in America. All these negative events are happening in certain places. So what the show is going to be on is going to be discussing, you know, we're Muslims, we're Pakistanis, you know, our skin color shows it. You know, we carry that stamp everywhere we go. But what is the state of the world? What is the state of us? You know, where do we stand? How do we hold our head up? And, you know, how do we get rid of this negativity that's just attached with the word Pakistan
Yeah,
these days?
and there's this one thing which I would love to say, and that is that all my childhood I've been listening to this, I don't know what to call it, whether a phrase or a statement, that see no evil, hear no evil, do no evil. So when you talk like that, eventually you end up seeing evil, doing evil, or hearing evil. So why can't we just rephrase that and say, do good, listen to good, and hear good? I think that'll be
That's
better.
an interesting. We'll
Yeah.
pose that to our guests, but to discuss this really broad topic. But it's interesting because as Pakistanis, as Muslims, we really need to figure out how we can gain our respect and dignity back. So we've been joined by Dr. Amine Hoti. She's the director of Markaz-e-Ilm, and she's also an educationist. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam. It's
Thank
a
you so much.
pleasure to always be here with
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the
two
time out.
very cheerful hosts who entertain the rest of Pakistan so wonderfully.
Thank you so much. That's very kind. Okay, so Dr. Amine, we're going to start from the beginning. With the media, we see all these negative things happening across the world, which I just mentioned in my introduction. But at the same time, we have everyone saying, be positive, focus on the good things. The media is telling lies. This is not true. This is not true. What is happening? Tell us yourself, because you're traveling, you're seeing things, you're
What
having
is the
discussions.
state of world right now?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to step back and say warm congratulations to the Pakistan team for doing so well, because really they've put Pakistan on the map for sports. They've done fantastically. Even to come up here for, you know, these 11 people to come to Pakistan and play this game here, winning or losing is not the issue. The issue is in the you know, trying your
them
best
being
to
here.
Yeah.
yes, and for them to even carry this on. So a warm congratulations, and they've given a lot of hope to Pakistan despite all the negativity or
Exactly.
the, you know, the bad news that comes out abroad especially. So just to go back to your question again, it is a very difficult time, not just for Pakistan, but for the world. Everybody is in a state of fear, in a state of suspicion. There are genuine reasons sometimes. You know, there's some political leaders who are drumming, you know, the drum a little bit too high and saying things unthoughtfully, unfortunately.
Yes.
Because some of these decisions affect millions of people, not only in their countries, but across the world. So therefore, their statements must be much more thoughtful, which are not, unfortunately, sometimes. And that causes problems. And there is this negative energy which comes out of that, especially, like you say, there is immigration because of wars and because of discrimination, because of not accepting citizens, for example, in one country and being rejected by another country. For example, the case as in the Rohingya Muslims, which is a terrible state. I know many Pakistanis are trying to raise funds, trying to do something, write about it. You know, there's a lot of passion. So there are really genuinely good people here in Pakistan. But what we need to do is bring that voice out louder so that the world can see the beauty of Pakistan
Okay.
and the diversity.
And the best part over here, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot when we were talking about cricket. So one of the players, I'm not sure about the name because I was reading it, so I can't remember it. So one of the players yesterday made a statement saying that I do not have my parents from the World 11 team, but I'm sure that after 15 years, when Pakistan will be doing great, I would have made them proud. So imagine that, you know, how positive can the world be, and people are actually entrusted in making Pakistan a better place to live
They
as well.
are. Now, okay, so now moving on, you know, we talked about how the media plays a role within this whole, you mentioned the state and the feelings that we're feeling about the fear, the suspicion. Now, with the media, it plays a huge role in relaying information. But these days, what we're seeing is that even the media is being questioned. It's being accused of not telling the truth, you know, fake news across the globe. So as citizens and as people living in Pakistan, and a lot of people in Pakistan don't get the opportunity to go out and see the world. You know, there's visa issues or there's certain financial restraints. How do they figure out what is true, what is not true, to what extent is it true? I mean, I travel, but I still, in the beginning, I wasn't sure about the Rohingya situation because there was so much counter narrative coming out. I wasn't sure what the truth was. When you have the leader denying what's happening within the country, how does an individual make a decision?
Well, that's a really important question, Maha.
And a long one, sorry about that.
It's a long one, but it's very important. And it's got to be addressed by the international media and by Pakistani media. Because this role or the platform to voice and represent entire communities and their situations is a very big responsibility. Now, it needs to be done fairly, it needs to be done justly and thoughtfully.
Right.
But unfortunately, there are, there are good people behind the media, but there are also those who have a certain, perhaps you call it agenda or role to promote certain ideas.
Okay.
And that becomes difficult for the ordinary consumer.
Yes.
Because like you say, they're just, getting what news is from their televisions. And that may or may not be that complex or sophisticated as an academic or a university or a school discussion maybe. And therefore, we need to have media people who engage in peace-building courses, media people who are reading, writing, thinking, learning. So they're learning, researching, and passing on that information.
Okay.
So not just media, I want every citizen in the ideal to be in that mode of research and thinking and passing
Thank
on
you.
ideas.
Use the word research.
Yeah, now you use a really important word, research there. Now, okay, when we're browsing and we're like surfing the internet, you have multiple articles coming up. Now, how do you now make the distinction of what is a good research-based article, which has its, its sources are correct, and how do you make the distinction between something that's just
Where
fabricated?
you at least have, I think my take on this one is where
Because
you
it's
at
the
least have
internet.
5 or 10 resources.
No, but the thing is, the internet has got so many of the same things, and like you'll get 100 things saying one thing.
No, but
then
you
you'll have
can't.
200
But
things
you
saying-
can't always rely on research where you just Google something and the first
But that's what I'm
result you got,
saying.
you clicked on it and you're like, okay,
But
fine.
that's what I'm saying. You Google it, you click on the first one, then you have to do the critical analysis and do the research on it. You look at 20 more articles, but they're all like, it's such a mixture of it because the internet has everything.
So how do you decide?
Yes. Well, that's another good question. You develop or you work towards a scholarly mind where, for example, you can look at what's available. I'm an anthropologist. For example, if I were to do research, I would do a little bit of research, maybe on the internet, maybe read a book, but also, more importantly, interview the people down on the ground.
Right.
And therefore, there are 1 or 2 projects that I'll share with you a little later, but interviewing people and getting their voice out and their perspectives enriches your understanding of a particular situation.
All right.
And therefore, for example, people abroad don't understand Pakistan as well as they should.
Okay.
Because those voices are not coming out. They are just seeing one block.
Yeah.
I want people to see Pakistan in its diversity, these wonderful cultures and communities, people representing different ethnicities, different religious groups, etc. That voice needs to come out loud and clearly.
Exactly. And that voice needs to be very transparent. That voice needs to be not very divergent towards one perspective as well. Because bloggers these days, I'm sorry if you want to write about me, do write about me. They get paid for writing whatever we want them to write. But as a matter of fact, I think what I would love to ask over here is, because I haven't seen or heard something of that sort, don't you think that we Pakistanis need to build a national narrative which is positive enough? And how do you think that we can do that?
Well, I really like that question because, often when something goes wrong, people say, oh, ye to Pakistan hai.
Yeah.
Now, I'm allergic to that. Please,
So am I.
please do not say that. Please do not. Because you say, हाँ, ये पाकिस्तान है, इसमें सब कुछ हो सकता है. That's how you can have a positive idea and then go ahead positively. And you'll make sure, because if I want to win a situation, I'm going to say I'm going to win this race. And with that mindset, I'm going to go ahead and construct or build or, work towards a goal. But if I say I cannot do it, then right from the start, I'm cutting my chances.
Yeah.
So this positivity has to come into culture. It's got to come into teachers, into parents, into media people, policymakers. Everybody's got to have a positive energy and get rid of the negative energy.
For example, the other day I made a vlog over Facebook and it went kind of viral as well. And
All we also do.
and I just wanted to talk about where people say that, you know, oh, we are a third world country. Why can't we use the word we are a developing country? I think that's a better perspective of our country
Okay.
too. And then, you know, so when, and then there was somebody commenting on it saying, oh, हम third world country हैं तो यही बोलेंगे ना. Come on, man.
Okay.
At least use the word developing.
Okay, I want to add to this. Why is it wrong saying third world, and why do we have a complex about it? It is what it is. You have to accept the situation. Third world developing, it's kind of the same thing, no?
But it makes
Do
quite a lot
words-
of difference.
Does the words matter?
Words do make difference.
Yeah.
Because words
know it
put
too,
you,
right?
words put you in a
So that's why you should
position.
make your own decisions.
Words put you in a position of superiority, inferiority, this one, us, them, it blocks you. So ideally, we are a world community. Now, I want to share a project with you, Maha and Shahzad, which is a, you know, wonderful little project. And this is about the religious diversity of Pakistan, which
Okay.
I'm learning about. Because when I came to Pakistan, you know, back from my studies and all, I began to do a little bit of research on the religions of Pakistan. And there's some faith communities I've been talking to. I've been talking to, for example, the Parsi community or the Baha'i, or, you know, there are different communities.
community.
Muslims in Pakistan, I've discovered the shrines, the Sufi shrines. There's so much depth, there's so much scholarship there. But again, we have to know about our own history. And our history is not just, you know, our Muslim history, which is rich and wonderful, but it also includes these voices from different faith communities. You know, we have Parsis here, we have Hindus here, we have Christians here, we have Sikhs here, we have, you know, different religious communities. And we must acknowledge them as a treasure of Pakistan. Why? Because I'll tell you. Number one, they have very good education rate. So almost all of them are literate. They're very articulate. Some of them are teachers. I met this wonderful lady recently who's over 70, and she is a teacher of Kinnaird College.
Excellent.
So she's been teaching our children. They're Christian priests who are teaching our children. So we need to give this voice, and we need to portray this image that Pakistan Christian, Pakistan Parsi, Pakistan Muslim is also present, and that will help us not make us, you know, fall backward.
Okay.
So education must be within Pakistan. We must help our own Pakistanis understand that this is a good thing, but also people abroad, that Pakistan is full of this wonderful mosaic.
Okay, and you're absolutely right. Sorry, I will, you can add it after. It is a mosaic, and it is potentially a very beautiful one. Now, we know we have all these different minorities, and that's wonderful. We have also noticed that Pakistan, you know, gets very upset. Pakistanis get very upset at atrocities being carried out against other Muslims or minorities in other countries. Now, when we come back to ours, when we look at ourselves, we are not innocent ourselves in the way we treat our minorities. You know, not everyone has a rough deal. A lot of people have good jobs. They're accepted by the society, community. But even one story or two stories, that's two stories too many about targeting of minorities. So within our country, how do we, charity and all these things begin with at home?
That's a very good question, Maha.
But I would love
Again,
to add over here. And the only reason why I would love to add over here is that, you know, quite a lot of times we do not really highlight the story which we need to. For example, there are many Christians who've actually sacrificed their life for Pakistan in 1965 war, and they are martyrs within the Pakistan Armed Forces. I think these are the stories, if we highlight them, we're probably on a very better position.
yes. Well, that's a very good question and very good point. Yesterday, there was a wonderful event organized by the Pakistan government, by an MNA, Nasia Bibi, and she had invited members of different faith communities, and they spoke beautifully about tolerance, about the need for education, about tolerant education in our system, and that is very important. And of course, you're right, Maha, that if there is any issue within Pakistan in terms of how we treat, you know, that one or two people from so-called minority communities, it is a terrible thing, because it's bad for humanity.
Yeah,
Abuse is bad anyway, wherever it is, whether a Muslim is abused in acid is thrown on their face in London, or whether something bad happens here in a classroom where a child is abused and thrown out of a classroom.
Or
It's
beaten
awful.
to death in class.
Or beaten to death. All these are terrible things for humanity as a whole. Because essentially Shahzad's point was that we human beings are good. Human beings like moral things. Therefore, good looks good to you. But a bad thing always remains a stain, not only on the person, but on the perpetrator's own conscience. For example, in Germany, what happened in the 1940s,
Yeah.
Germany, that was such a terrible thing for communities, that today Germany is taking in so many Muslim Syrians from Syria and from other places because of that mistake.
They're
So
trying to learn from their mistakes.
it is a guilt, and that guilt kills you, or it remains with you. My point is, we need for every Pakistani citizen to feel a passion, a responsibility, and to act within society with a passion, and not to waste a single day, just sitting back doing nothing. Because if I may
Sure,
finish,
sure.
please, there's wonderful girls I meet, there's wonderful boys I meet, young boys and girls who've just finished their masters or MA. And in fact, last night, the night before, I was asking them, what do you do? And they said nothing. Now that is, it's sad, because Pakistan can do so much with their skills, with their contribution. You see, it's like a garden, and you have these gardeners. They're all, working and tilling the grass, and you have beautiful flowers at the end of it. You can see the effort. But not doing something is the worst thing for Pakistan.
Absolutely.
Every human being, every citizen must contribute.
Now, there are two more things which I want to ask, and first one is, how do you think these pseudo-intellectuals actually affect the society, first of all? And then the second is where Pakistanis themselves, since they have been listening to all of these intellectuals, so-called, but what happens is when they travel abroad, wherever they're going, they're not very, happy to say that we are from Pakistan. Why do you think that this thing is prevalent?
Well, I think intellectuals are very important. I went on a research project in Europe, which was called Journey into Europe, with my father, Professor Akbar Ahmed. And there I saw a place called Andalusia, Al-Andalus, where for 800 years Muslims ruled, but with Muslims, Christians, people of other faiths and all, they were all together, and they ruled in a place where there was focus on knowledge and science and development. And that's what we need to encourage in Pakistan. But they were not only specialists in a certain subject, they were masters of the Quran and the Hadith and biology and medicine, and it was like an all-round wholesome knowledge. And unfortunately, that is missing from the world today, because we specialize so much in one subject that we fail to understand a much wider, we're not so wholesome as we should be.
No, exactly. We started boxing everything, and we said, you don't need to know this. Like, people made these decisions for the rest of the society that you don't need this, you don't need to know that. But, knowledge is power, and our religion is all about knowledge. So now, because we're running out of time, it's never enough time when we speak to you. You mentioned something very important, which I wanted to highlight, that thoughtless statements from leaders and people in position, like maybe in the media, social, cultural, how do we as citizens of a country, of a nation, when people in influential positions are talking about us, how do we counteract that? And how do we actually make people realize that just because it's the internet, those words have weight, they will have an impact. So you need to think about what you say before you say it, and maybe kind of have a discussion.
Okay, so there are two things, Maha. Number one, when statements like that are made, which are difficult and sometimes label an entire nation or an entire group of people, that's very dangerous. I've seen it in research projects that labeling leads, and serious labeling, like, for example, terrorism or whatever, leads to genocide and has led so. For example, in Germany it happened in Syria, it's happened in so many places. So it's a very worrying scenario. Now, for Pakistanis, with their diversity, we must highlight and work much more actively in highlighting that, we are peace builders. We have so many wonderful things. We have cricket. We have this wonderful culture of hospitality. We have diversity. We have, this wonderful cultures of Parsis and Sikhs and
We just need
Hindus,
to embrace
Muslims. whose motto is do good, work good, and think good. Do you know their motto
Where I
is
started
this?
from.
Where you
But
started
it's their
from.
motto, you stole it.
But it's their motto. So
Excellent.
their whole theme is to contribute.
Okay.
But the world does not know the story.
No.
Because we have failed to act as ambassadors.
Okay.
I want every Pakistani to be an ambassador and a global citizen. So you're responsible to change your country in a better way, but also contribute to the world.
Yeah. Thank
Wonderful.
you very much. And there's a reason behind that motto. I'm just going to take another 30
'Cause
seconds.
they have it.
And that's it. And that there is a reason. And that is, for example, if I tell you to close your eyes for a second, I've done that before, to close your eyes.
Okay.
Don't think about your mother.
Oh, sorry.
Okay? Don't think about your mother. Now, the first thought you're going to get in your head is your mother. That picture
Yes,
which comes right in your
yes,
head.
yeah.
So do good, listen to good, and
Say
good
think
as
good.
well.
Yes.
Great.
So that will work.
Thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and it's never enough time, so we will try and get you when you have a bit more time for us. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so everyone, that was a show on, how can we kind of figure out what's happening within the world? How do we process the information, and how do we become good Pakistanis and good global citizens? So with that, do log on to our Facebook fan page,
Which is with the name of World This Morning.
On Twitter page.
World This Morning without a G.
our Daily Motion on YouTube page.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is at
5 past 11 p.m.
Oh yeah, I was going to say it. Okay, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much.